One final comment, though, I'd like to get from you, a short comment or encouragement, is the way I
Yeah,
look at it,
yeah.
to the listener of this video cast is big picture. What do I need to do as a small business to see the big picture?
Stop looking at the niche first. Uh, Listen to more consultants. Get a mentor who's had experience in your industry. That's another thing I hadn't really talked about much. Some industries never want to listen to experts from their industry. Oh, why should I hear what a competitor did or said? Listen to people from your industry, but also realize that 80% of it is good business. Some of them don't want to listen to anyone outside of their industry. Some of them are terrible about that. Uh, get good consultants, and really use them. The worst thing you can do is miscast and misuse an advisor because it's going to sour you on consultants. There's one of the things that did, and I have the list in front of me so I can at least read it without talking it to death. There are 11 different places that people go to get advice. Some of it's the wrong stuff. Number one, hearsay and third hand. There's a chapter on this in the book. It's called "Where Do They Go to Get Ideas and Help." A lot of people do things based on hearsay. I saw on the internet that this, that, and the other is the growing area. Let's just go into that new area of our business. I kind of heard that that's the thing to do. Second one is they listen to special interests a little too much, or they're very partial. This is all still small picture stuff. Then you start get people say, "Oh, gee, I'd like to find out more about the big picture of business." Were you to go on the internet, you're not going to get it anywhere than ads for my books because it doesn't exist. Why it doesn't, I don't know. I wish it did, but the problem is a lot of people are going to say they'll do something. They'll claim they did things that they didn't do. There are a lot of consulting companies on advertising on the internet, and they'll give you a little bit of content, but it's wrong content or it was stolen. My Tylenol case from the 80s that I worked on, I've seen that in a lot of books. I waited many years to write that case study up, and I was there and I was involved in it, but I'd seen people lifting it without permission. Then the other thing is use those niche experts and consultants. Then I would encourage people to utilize educational programs. When chambers of commerce do these workshops and these think tanks and these roundtable groups, go to them, participate in them. You think that it's taking you away from your business, consider that an important part of the business. And then you get into the books. There are 300,000 books issued every year, and 83% of them are not real books. Some people need to discern that a pamphlet that's made up to be sold back of the room is not a real book. Then the same thing with mentors. I have a chapter in the book called Since the Recession, and the problem is the marketplace is flooded with recently become consultants. You need to be able to analyze, what do they know? Were they doing this 5 years ago? Were they doing this 10 years ago? Were they doing this 20 years ago? What have they done? Ask about what clients they worked with and what they really did. People don't ask enough questions of consultants. Research tells us that only 2% of the consultants out there really are. And that includes, by the way, all the doctors, the lawyers, accountants, architects, and engineers. Those of us who that's what we've done. We're not there to sell off-the-shelf solutions. We're there to help them strategize what they need to do, who else to bring in. So that's the other problem is people, they'll take too much from vendors than they would from mentors. Then you get into the last couple of things I'd say is advocate groups. One of the things that we both love about Silver Fox Advisors is that they're people who've been there. They've been around the bend a long, long time. time. And it's not just an age thing, it's an experience thing. People bring together collective experience. And if they don't have the wisdom, they have the gravitas to say, you need to talk to Joe. You need to talk to Sue. They know what they're doing. The best thing that I ever learned in my life was how to point fingers at somewhere else and say, they're wonderful and they're talented. And none of us can do it all. None of us should try to do it all or presume to know how to do it. And it's the old thing that they talk about in customer service. People, they want to know that you care. They want to know how wonderful you are. The reason I throw in all these case studies is to show when potential situations were turned around by learning what someone else did, then you're really good. And then, it's just, the answer is there's something to be learned from all of the above. Just don't get stuck on those first 2 or 3 rungs. Don't get all of your business ideas from what you hear third hand at a cocktail party, because that's not good business. It really isn't. It's gonna bite you down the road.
Well, Hank, again, thank you for sharing your wisdom, your experience, and your wonderful case studies. It's been a great conversation, and one that I hope that you as listeners will take to heart and re-listen and make notes, because there is some valuable advice in this discussion and in these books, The Big Picture of Business. They're great reads and great encyclopedias or resources. So this is it. This is the end of the conversation. Hope you've enjoyed it, and please let us know. Just send us an email at onebestconsult.com. We appreciate it. Thanks very much.
OneBestConsult.com, a community of small business owners where you as an owner can find answers to the most pressing business questions you have. Not sure who to turn to when you have a challenge in your business? Turn to the folks at OneBestConsult.com. That's the number 1, bestconsult.com, where you can always find advice you can use based on common sense business experience. Join our community of like-minded business owners at OneBestConsult.com.